Hi guys, Carl from Rally Action with an update on fire extinguishers. It's a pretty straightforward piece of equipment, but a lot of competitors tend to get it really wrong. So let's go through it step by step, doesn't matter whether it's club level motorsport or whether it's full rally, and break it down into bite-sized chunks. Let's start with handheld fire extinguishers because they're the most common and they're fitted to cars for pretty much every form of motorsport. The first thing is handheld fire extinguishers, unless otherwise stated, need to be certified every 3 years. Now, all things considered, fire extinguishers are pretty cheap these days, so it's not worth getting your fire extinguisher tested, pressure checked and re-tagged every 3 years. The simple and easiest solution is to just replace the fire extinguishers every 3 years. Now, to know what the date is of manufacture on your fire extinguisher, the easiest way to check is to have a look at either the neck of the fire extinguisher or the base around the rim, and the date will be stamped in there. Now, as you can see here, it's not that easy to see, and sometimes you might need to squint at it a little bit to actually find the date, but it's there. And as long as your fire extinguisher is within 3 years of the date of manufacture, you're right. So let's talk about mounting. If your fire extinguisher comes with one of these, a plastic bracket, you've got to have a metal bracket and it's got to be bolted down correctly and bolted with high tensile bolts. Now, we use mushroom or button head high tensile bolts, zinc plated so they resist corrosion. You can use a normal high tensile bolt like a normal head. However, as you can see here, it's pretty tricky to actually get a spanner or a socket in there to tighten it up. Consequently, if you use cap screw or cap head bolts, often they're too tall and they'll actually foul on the extinguisher, and we don't want any damage to the extinguisher whatsoever. If the scrutineers find any damage on your extinguisher or it's discharged or not fully charged, they just simply won't let you use it and you may not be able to race. Also, underneath you need to use a large washer and a nylock to make sure that the bolt doesn't come undone. It depends on the type of event you're doing whether you'll need one or maybe two of these fire extinguishers. General rule of thumb is club motorsport you only need one, rally you'll probably need two. Best bet is to check the regulations for the event you're entering, and then you can make sure that you've got the right amount in the car. Okay, let's talk about plumbed in fire extinguisher systems, or fire extinguisher bombs as we commonly know them. Now I'm going to talk about rally, not necessarily about other forms of motorsport. Now at this stage it's only required in rally for national and international competition, unless your car was manufactured in the year 2000 or later. So if you've got a car from say 2000 to 2019, manufactured somewhere in that date, you are required to fit a fire extinguisher bomb system, even if you're running in state level events. If you're running in a car that is older than 2000, say a 99 model car, by the rules you're not required to fit one. Now, fire extinguisher bombs need to be tagged and tested every 2 years. I know, shock horror, they actually have to be tagged. And basically what happens is they have to be sent back to the manufacturer or to an approved agent for tagging and testing, because they have to completely empty the system, pressure test it all, refill it all with new foam in there and put the whole thing back together again. So your local fire extinguisher company is most likely not able to do that. When fire extinguisher bomb systems like the tanks are recertified, quite often they put the sticker in a place that's very hard to get to once it's mounted in the car, particularly with the current mounting requirements. And so it may make it tricky for the scrutineers to be able to get in there and actually find the tag and check it. So what they have now introduced is that the date of certification can actually be written into the logbook of the rally car, which means then that the scrutineers only have to refer to that date in the logbook rather than having to pull the tank out of the car every time. It may mean, however, on the first event or when you've had your tank recertified, that you may have to take the tank out in the first place to let them have a look at it. Now, even though you might have 2 years on your actual extinguisher system, the battery, if you've got an electric system, definitely won't last that long, and it's worth changing the 9-volt battery in there at least once a year, if not twice a year, just to be on the safe side. I mean, nobody wants to have to use a fire extinguisher system out in the case that it's required, you definitely want it to work. Hopefully I've cleared up some of the confusion over fire extinguishers and I haven't made it worse for you. You can also get online and check the regs for yourself. So thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe, and hopefully we'll see you out there racing soon.